Hey, welcome to Strickland's and Friends.
Today we're making a massaged kale salad.
So this is a real happy occasion. One of our dearest friends sent us a bunch of triple cross tangerines.
Yum!
Now you could make this same dish. I would, if we didn't have the triple cross tangerines, I might make it with little sections of a clementine.
Or even oranges. You could use a navel orange, you could use blood oranges, you could use cara oranges. So really any citrus is going to be fine in this, but we have a whole bunch of triple cross tangerines, which you can see on the counter behind us. There's so many back there because we got a big case of them and we're very excited. So this is a great way to use them. Kale is growing in the garden right now, so it's a great way to use citrus and kale.
So we're making...
massaged kale salad.
We are making massaged kale salad with some citrus.
Yes. So what we're going to start with is the dressing. So I have a couple tablespoons of orange juice, and what you could do is squeeze a triple cross tangerine and get 2 tablespoons of orange juice out of it, or you could just have 2 tablespoons of regular orange juice. That works too. And 3 tablespoons of a organic, I have rice wine vinegar. Adding that, and 1 tablespoon of tahini, and I found this really cool tahini called Mighty Sesame Company makes this one, and it's squeezable, so you don't have to like stir and stir and stir. Apparently it just stays, you know, already mixed up. So I've bought containers of tahini before we have to like stir and stir and stir. So this one,
any tahini you have, I think she'd be happy.
Oh yeah, tahini's fabulous. So any tahini, 1 tablespoon.
But this is the fat. This is the densely packed calories we're putting into it. Though,
it's only a tablespoon, so remain calm. 1 tablespoon.
So that's 105 calories.
Okay, but you know, you're not...
which isn't horrible.
...having it all by yourself. So.
What's the difference between using this and a bunch of oil?
This would have more nutrients, and it's made of sesame seeds. So tahini is just basically ground up sesame seeds. So, and seeds are really good for you. They have some nice fatty acids that you're not going to find in just straight up vegetable oil.
So this would still have the fiber and the associated nutrients.
Sure. Yeah, you're definitely going to get
whereas sesame
more
oil would not.
Right. And it's good too. Okay. Love that. All right, and then I have a fork. We also have, and this is an optional ingredient, but it's just a little drizzle of toasted sesame oil, toasted, not regular sesame oil, and you can leave this out. This can be a completely optional ingredient, but toasted sesame oil has that wonderful smell and flavor that's so nice in Asian recipes. So we're just doing like a ½ teaspoon, so it's just a teeny little bit, just for the flavor. Okay, and I'm just whisking that all up. And make sure that's everything. Orange juice, tahini, seasoned rice vinegar, ½ teaspoon of sesame oil. You could add some salt and pepper. And then also, a nice touch, instead of salt, is a squeeze of fresh lemon, because that's going to hit the same taste buds right by the same taste buds anyway, that salt does. So that can kind of reduce the need for salt. There we go. So that's a good little squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Okay. All right. And then I think that's pretty well whisked up. Looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have kale. So this is a little baby curly kale leaf from our garden. This is a lacinato or dinosaur kale leaf from the grocery store.
That's always been your favorite.
I love lacinato kale because it's just so tender and it's delicious. But these baby kale leaves are also really good. So you could use curly kale, you could use red Russian kale, you could use lacinato kale. So, and I saw the funniest thing at the grocery store the other day. They had a kale stripper. It was like a tool that you could buy for, I don't know, like $6.99 or something. And you could put a piece of kale through it to try and get rid of this hard stem in there. And you pull the kale through this kale stripper. And I thought, well, that's just silly. Unless you don't have hands, I mean, and I know there are people who don't, but I mean, like, if you've got hands, then all you do is go like that. I mean, that's...
Sounds like a good Halloween costume.
Kale stripper?
Well, we've got a Halloween
we do have a
costume that's
kale
a big...
costume, yeah.
Yeah, I would just have to have a G-string around it and some
kale
dollars
stripper.
hanging on it.
Kale stripper. Okay, dad humor. All right, so tearing this apart. Once you get that really hard stem out of it, the rest of it's fine. All right. And then the fun part is we're going to massage the kale. So the kale has had a hard day, so it's going to have a nice massage. I think it's good.
I think so too.
That's all whisked up. Okay. You might not need all of it. We don't have as much kale as I thought we did. Okay. I'll set that aside. And then you just dive right in and start squeezing the dressing into the leaves. Basically just massage the dressing right into the leaves. Ooh, look at that. All right.
You might notice how much kale we're starting with and how much you wind up with.
Well, yeah, it was pretty full, and now it's getting smaller and smaller. So you're basically just breaking it down a little bit, making it a little bit easier to eat. You know, when you get a huge kale leaf and it's like really thick and fibrous and you feel like you're just chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing. So this helps break it down a little bit, but it's still raw and you're still getting all those nutrients and all the fiber. But wow, look how much smaller it's gotten already. Goodness. That is, yeah, that's a lot smaller. Okay. It's just like a magic trick. Okay, so now that dressing has been just jammed into the leaves, and I'm going to wash my hands. Make sure I'm not tossing any all over the counter. There we go.
We only used half the dressing, right?
Yes, because we didn't really have as much kale as, I mean, you can buy a big bunch of kale at the grocery store, and that was just a really small bunch. I'm not sure why. I think maybe we used some leaves for something the other day, but that was all the kale we had left, plus a few leaves from our garden. So, okay, let me wash my hands. Thank you. Okay. So I'll just break up the stem and put it in the compost. So it goes right back to the garden that way. Okay.
Perfect.
So then we're adding a couple of those triple cross tangerines that we've already pulled apart and cut the little segments in half.
What is that, probably 2 cups of oranges?
Yeah, probably pretty close. But yeah, so you could do 2... you know, you could do 2 navel oranges. You could do, I mean, we could actually add 3 to this. That would be fine.
Yeah, play with it.
Sure. And then we have a half a cup of dried cranberries.
Oh, cranberries and orange are a good
Right?
combination.
They really are. And then a half a cup of toasted slivered almonds. And I always get sliced almonds and slivered almonds mixed up. I think the sliced ones are the ones that are just like shaved thin, and then slivered are the ones that look like little matchsticks.
Right.
Like that. And so I've toasted them, and that's about a half a cup.
Yeah,
Which is probably going to be too much for the amount of kale we have. So
the sliced ones would be round or oval.
Yeah, they're the almond shaped.
Yeah.
So get all that mixed up. Okay, and that is the basic recipe right there. Like that's
looks good,
and it's delicious. But
yeah.
and that makes a good side dish. But if you're going to have it for dinner, then you have some optional ideas. You could add maybe some shredded carrots to it if you want to, or I have some chickpeas that I just cooked in the pressure cooker the other day. So I'm just going to add some chickpeas because we're making this into a whole meal. So just get that all tossed. Yum. All right, and you could even add a cooked grain to it if you want to. Maybe a cup of cooked quinoa or some brown rice or some farro. That would be really good and make it more of a meal. So look at that. That is a beautiful salad, isn't it? Look
Yeah.
how pretty that is.
So some years we'll have this
Taste
a couple
it.
times a week.
Yep,
And
taste
it's
it.
just delicious.
Yummy. Yay! All right, it's time for supper. So thanks for watching. Leave any questions or comments you have below, and we'll try to get back to you really quickly.